JD Vance's personal life has become a focal point of speculation in late October 2025, blending political alliances with whispers of romance. At a Turning Point USA event on October 29th at the University of Mississippi, Vance shared the stage with Erica Kirk, the widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who tragically passed away earlier that year. Their interaction, a warm, lingering hug captured on video, quickly went viral, amassing millions of views and igniting rumors of a possible affair. Erica, now leading TPUSA as CEO, introduced Vance as a dear friend and noted similarities between him and her late husband, stating, "No one will ever replace Charlie, but I do see some similarities of my husband and JD, Vice President JD Vance." While sources emphasize their long-standing professional ties in conservative circles, the embrace drew backlash, with critics calling it disgusting and inappropriate, fueling online theories of romantic involvement. Despite no concrete evidence supporting an affair, the incident has amplified scrutiny on Vance's marriage. Compounding these rumors are Vance's recent public remarks about his wife, Usha Vance, and her faith. On October 31st, during an appearance, the vice president openly expressed his hope that Usha, raised in a Hindu family by Indian immigrant parents, would convert to Christianity. He stated, "I want my wife to come to believe in the same things I do," while acknowledging her support in his own return to Catholicism in 2019. Usha has no plans to convert, and Vance has defended their interfaith marriage, emphasizing mutual respect. However, the comments have sparked widespread backlash, with Indian American communities and critics labeling them insensitive and prompting questions about the stability of their union. In the opulent world of political thrones, these personal revelations have led to divorce speculations, intertwining Vance's public embrace with Erica and his private faith aspirations for Usha. He does not arrive in politics as a man counting pennies. He arrives as a man who already learned how money moves and how stories turn into assets. The cameras would catch him in a Navy suit at a factory floor and in the next hour on a stage with venture capitalists. And both rooms would recognize the same thing. He has cash flow, he has access, and he has the kind of upside that is measured not only in dollars, but in the doors those dollars open. The spine of his wealth begins in print. A single book becomes a franchise. Hillbilly Elegy sells and keeps selling. Trade sales, paperback, foreign rights, and the long tail of speaking honoraria that follow a cultural moment. The book turns into a film, and the film turns into another income stream. Publishing is not a billionaire game on its own, but for him it is a foundation. It validates him for media, and it creates yearly royalty statements that feel like a private annuity. Add paid speeches across universities, corporate retreats, and civic forums. Add consulting-style appearances, where the real product is his perspective on a part of America that boardrooms do not understand but want to talk about. This first layer places him in the set of public figures whose words have a market price. The second layer is where the real velocity begins. He chooses venture capital, first as a partner learning inside someone else's architecture, then as a builder of his own. A fund headquartered in the heartland, built with a thesis that America's next great companies do not need coastal addresses to become valuable. Early-stage checks go out. Board seats follow. The math is simple in outline and brutal in practice. A portfolio of losses and break-even outcomes where a few names carry the entire fund. He does not have to win all of them. He has to win a handful. Carry is the word that matters. The share of a fund's profits allotted to the managers who picked and supported the winners. If the fund returns 2 or 3 times over a decade, carry converts patience into sudden wealth. The numbers are always ranges because valuations move, exits slip, and markets reprice optimism. But the mechanism is clear. A manager with meaningful carry in a fund that hits even 1 or 2 strong liquidity events can see personal net worth move by many millions in a single year. When people estimate his wealth in the mid-8 figures to low 9-figure potential over the coming years, they are pointing at this machine. Not guaranteed, but very real. Alongside carry sits personal co-investment. Managers often place their own capital into the companies they champion. The checks can be modest at first, and later feel enormous when a startup climbs. That equity is illiquid until it is not. He understands that illiquidity is not a flaw. It is a time lock. It keeps him aligned with founders through the ugly months when a good company looks bad. When exits arrive, that alignment pays twice. Once to the fund, once to the personal balance sheet. Access is another asset, and he has it. His donor and advisor universe includes men who do not measure their influence with headlines. They measure it in ownership and throughput. Peter Thiel is the compass of contrarian capital. Elon Musk is the visible shock to entire industries. Mark Andreessen is the voice of software as destiny. Jeff Bezos is the superintendent of pipes and platforms. Ken Griffin is the tactician who reads risk at speeds that make markets blink. The presence of these names around his projects does not automatically mint wealth, but it accelerates every conversation that could lead there. It means a founder answers his call. It means an allocator takes the meeting. It means a governor takes a plan seriously because of who stands behind the plan. The third layer is the quiet institutional work that compounds net worth in the background. Board compensation in cash and stock. Advisory grants that vest over years if he helps a company avoid expensive mistakes. Real estate holdings purchased with discipline, while his national profile moves local property values by association. Personal brand deals he does not chase but can accept when they make sense with the story he is building. Tax optimization with the best counsel money can buy so that the dollars that arrive remain available to redeploy. When analysts say he is already in the high-end power tier, they are talking about a present-tense balance sheet that blends royalties, fees, salary, carry, options, and real property into a range that feels like mid-8 figures for a figure of his profile and age. The range is a range on purpose, because private holdings do not print daily prices the way public tickers do. But it is enough to place him in a class of Americans that can write a 7-figure check, can join a cap table on a call, can fund a think tank project without blinking, and can continue to invest through cycles. This is the class where money turns into relationships, and relationships turn into deal flow. He is not only collecting assets, he is setting up future engines. The political path, done correctly, is not an obstacle to wealth. It is a multiplier. It multiplies attention, and attention is the first input for any platform. It multiplies proximity to public capital in the form of state-level industrial policy and federal programs that need capable private partners. It multiplies the quality of the problems that arrive on his desk. The bigger the problem, the bigger the fee for solving it in the private sector after a season of public service. He understands the revolving door cliché, but he also understands the professionalization of national competence. He aims to be the kind of operator who makes that phrase mean something noble and profitable at the same time. Consider how each billionaire name fits into the pipeline. Thiel offers the map for finding underpriced secrets. A single, correct contrarian bet held with conviction can move a fund and a personal balance sheet by 8 figures. Musk offers the mega project lens. Starlink scale or next-generation battery scale is where federal contracting, private capital, and political will intersect. Being the trusted political operator who can align those streams creates reputational equity that converts into future board seats, advisory roles, and private allocations. Andreessen offers the software substrate that every industrial policy now rides on. If a heartland semiconductor plant needs a software stack to run at world-class efficiency, the people who fund that stack will know his number. Bezos offers the discipline of infrastructure and the power of being a platform landlord. If he champions a logistics corridor that actually ships what it promises, he earns a share of the upside as a director. as a private investor, or as a fund manager who was early. Griffin offers the risk pricing mindset. If he learns to underwrite public projects with private rigor, his private returns will reflect that rigor. These are not slogans. They are routes. There is also the market value of a national brand that travels well internationally. Sovereign funds, family offices, and cross-border industrial groups prefer to work with known quantities inside the United States. A senator with venture literacy and a reputation for getting complex things done is a known quantity. He is the person a Gulf fund wants to brief. He is the person an East Asian manufacturer wants to call before announcing a plant. He is the person a European energy company wants in the room when a big joint venture is drafted. None of these meetings show up on a personal balance sheet immediately. Many of them create the conditions where the next fund is oversubscribed and the carry on that fund is worth more before the first check goes out. Wealth is not only the number, it is the optionality that number buys. Optionality to sit out bad deals. Optionality to double down on the one that is actually bending reality. Optionality to hire people who save you from your own blind spots. Optionality to take reputational risk on a hard fix because you do not need the next paycheck to survive. He is already living in that space. He travels where work requires without looking at the column labeled cost. He puts his children in schools that open their own networks. He has a legal team that says yes in the way that matters, which is yes, we can do this safely, not yes, we can do anything. The distance between an elite multimillionaire and a future billionaire is shorter than it looks if the engines are aligned and the calendar is managed like a fund. The engines here are clear. Publishing and paid speech maintaining baseline cash. Venture carry and co-investment creating long-duration convexity. Advisory equity and board work adding mid-duration wins. Real estate protecting downside and offering leverage against future liquidity. A national political brand that amortizes into all of the above by raising the quality of the people who want to work with him. Failures will happen. A startup will implode. A deal will sour. A bill will die. None of that matters if the portfolio is constructed with the understanding that most wins arrive late and loud. He has oriented his life toward late and loud. The patience is a choice. The loud is a byproduct. When the loud arrives, wealth prints in numbers that feel like myth to people who have never watched the math of carry settle on a single line item and transform a household net worth in a week. He is building toward that week, not by chanting it into existence, but by putting himself in the lane where it happens to people who keep showing up to the right rooms with the right partners. He is in those rooms. He is standing next to those partners. And he is speaking a language that investors understand. He talks about risk the way a builder does. He talks about America the way a parent does. He talks about technology the way an owner does. That combination is rare. Rarity is valuable because there is less of it to buy. When there is less of something to buy, the price moves. If he leaves office at some point, there will be a line. Strategic advisory firms. Funds that want a name on the masthead who can raise in days. Corporations that want a director who actually reads the packet and can call the right governor. Media companies that want a series where he interviews the people who actually make the things that run your life. Universities that want a center funded by his donors and directed by his curiosity. He will not say yes to most of it. He will say yes to the ones that fit a larger map. That is the difference between rich and wealthy. Rich people say yes to checks. Wealthy people say yes to architecture. Architecture is the word that explains why the W3 frame feels appropriate to observers who follow this world. Today he sits, by reasonable high-end estimates, somewhere in the mid-8 figures when you include illiquid holdings at conservative marks and the present value of likely income streams. Tomorrow he sits in a very different place if a portfolio company lists. If another is acquired, if a third finally reaches the kind of profitability that invites a strategic buyer to call. None of those events are fantasies. They are the kinds of events that happen every quarter in an economy as large as this one. The difference is whether you are inside the set of people who benefit when they do. He has placed himself inside that set. He did it with a book and a degree, and fund math, and the attention economy, and a willingness to work with people who can wire 100 million the way a normal executive approves a departmental budget. That willingness is not submission. It is adult collaboration. It is how modern American wealth is built when you are not born into a family office that predates electricity. The final image is not a yacht or a helicopter or a mountain house, though all of those are easy to imagine when the graph bends. The final image is a spreadsheet where the columns labeled equity, carry, cash, and brand begin to rhyme. When columns rhyme, they compound. When they compound, they turn into the kind of net worth that changes how a country treats your phone calls. He is on that path. He knows it. The men around him know it. The only question is timing, and timing is a problem that tends to resolve itself for people who keep building in public with private discipline. If this world of real wealth architecture and future power intrigues you, subscribe to Luxury Throne now and turn on notifications. The next story is already writing its first line in a boardroom you will never see.